Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at AI and healthcare. We've got some recent articles here, and they really paint a fascinating picture of...
Yeah, it really feels like we're on the edge of some big changes, right?
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating to me is how AI is going beyond just, assisting doctors. It's really changing the entire patient experience.
Definitely. And what's striking is that this isn't some, far-off science fiction anymore. I mean, we're seeing things like AI-powered symptom checkers, these super smart healthcare assistants.
It's amazing.
And even a surge in open-source AI tools, which I think is huge.
Right.
It could really level the playing field, especially for smaller clinics.
Okay, so let's break this down a bit. Let's start with these AI symptom checkers. I feel like we've all used those websites. You type in, like, I have a cough, and it tells you to...
That your affairs in order.
Right, like prepare for the zombie apocalypse, basically. So how are these AI versions any different? Are they actually better?
Yeah, that's the big question. I mean, accuracy is obviously crucial, right?
Exactly.
And the tech is still developing, but the potential is there. The potential for these AI symptom checkers to be incredibly useful.
I can see that.
Imagine getting advice that's tailored to your specific symptom.
Oh, wow.
Or even, maybe avoiding an unnecessary trip to the doctor completely.
Yeah.
And some of the research we're looking at actually shows that these AI tools, they can be very effective in triaging patients.
Oh, interesting.
Making sure they're getting the right level of care at the right place.
So instead of rushing to the ER for every little sniffle,
Exactly.
the AI could say, hey, maybe try a telemedicine appointment, or, this sounds like something you could manage with the over-the-counter remedies, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's about efficiency, but also personalization. This idea of personalized healthcare.
I like that.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Yep.
It's not just about the AI being accurate, it's also about how it communicates that information.
That's a good point.
Studies have shown that people are much more likely to trust these tools if they feel like there's a sense of human-like interaction.
Makes sense.
But it's got to strike that balance, right, between sounding relatable, but also remaining competent.
It can't be like, hey, dude, I think you have a cold, but don't quote me on that. I'm just an AI.
Right, exactly.
But it also can't be like super formal and robotic.
It's got to find that sweet spot.
Right, where people feel heard and understood, but also like they're getting accurate information.
Precisely. That human element, it's crucial. And that actually brings up another really important aspect of all this ensuring equitable access.
Oh, right.
We have to think about, the people who might not have reliable internet access.
Yeah.
Or people who, for whatever reason, have a hard time navigating these digital health tools.
Right. Yeah.
How do we make sure that these AI symptom checkers are bridging the healthcare gap and not accidentally widening it?
It's like with any new technology.
Yeah.
We have to make sure it's actually benefiting everyone, not just, the people who are already digitally connected and comfortable with technology.
Absolutely. And it's not always easy, but it's essential to keep in mind.
For sure. Okay, so we've talked about symptom checkers, but AI is also changing the game when it comes to just like the everyday tasks of healthcare, right?
Absolutely. Think about all the time we spend, navigating phone menus.
Don't even get me started.
Or trying to book appointments.
Or worse.
Or even just finding your way around a hospital. What if AI could take care of all that?
Okay, yeah, now that part does sound pretty amazing. I mean, we've all been there, stuck on hold, endlessly transferred, just trying to schedule a simple checkup. If AI could take away that hassle, it would be...
It would be revolutionary.
Revolutionary, exactly.
It's about freeing up these incredibly valuable human resources, allowing healthcare professionals to focus on what they do best, which is actually providing care.
That makes sense.
These AI assistants can answer basic questions, they can schedule those appointments, they can even guide patients through a hospital visit. It could make the entire experience so much less stressful, so much more efficient.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Yeah.
Efficiency can't come at the cost of, actual human connection, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not about automating everything.
Good.
It's about being smart about it, about strategically integrating AI in a way that enhances the patient experience, not replaces that vital human interaction. We have to think about building trust in these systems, safeguarding patient data, ensuring equitable access. All of that is crucial. We have to be really thoughtful about this, always evaluating the impact, making sure it aligns with our values.
So it's like we have this incredibly powerful new tool in our healthcare arsenal, but we need to be careful about how we use it.
Exactly. We need to make sure it's benefiting both patients and healthcare providers.
Absolutely. And speaking of new tools, this deep dive uncovered some really fascinating developments in the world of open source AI, which, let's be honest, feels like the Wild West of innovation right now.
It really does. And it has the potential to change everything.
In what way?
Well, imagine if smaller clinics, right, they had access to the same cutting-edge AI tools as these giant companies.
Right.
That's the promise of open source AI.
Wow.
And we're already seeing some incredible advancements, like with this platform called Molmo.
Molmo? Okay, so that sounds less like cutting-edge AI and more like, I don't know, a new coffee shop or something?
Right. Catchy name, though.
It is catchy. But okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this Molmo thing.
Okay, so imagine this. You're running a small clinic, right?
Yeah.
And you keep hearing about AI, how it's going to revolutionize everything.
Yeah.
But the cost, those big, fancy AI systems.
Oh, I bet.
Way out of reach, right?
Probably.
That's where Molmo comes in. It's this open source platform specifically designed for healthcare. And here's the best part. It's built by this community, developers, and researchers, so it's constantly evolving, constantly getting better, and anyone can use it.
So it's like having a whole team of like AI geniuses on call, but without the massive bill at the end of the month.
Exactly. And that accessibility, that's what's so huge about this.
Right.
Smaller clinics, hospitals, they can actually use Molmo to build their own AI tools.
Wow.
Tools that are tailored to their specific needs, whether it's, I don't know, analyzing medical images or maybe predicting patient risk, even personalizing treatment plans. It's amazing.
That is amazing. But okay, let's say I'm a small clinic, right? And I've got my Molmo-powered AI doing its thing, and then suddenly, boom, it just stops working. What do I do? Do I call up like Molmo customer support?
That's a great question. And it highlights a key difference with open source. See, the support often comes from the community itself.
Oh, interesting.
It's like this global network, developers and users all working together to make it better.
Okay.
So you've got forums, you've got these online communities, tons of documentation. So if you run into trouble, that's where you go. You find help, you troubleshoot, you can connect with other people who might have had the same problem.
So it's a trade-off then.
Yeah.
You get access to these, I mean, really powerful tools, but the support system is a little less, I don't know, a little less official.
Yeah, it's a different approach. You're relying on the community, their knowledge, their willingness to help.
I suppose that makes sense. It's just a different way of thinking about tech support.
Exactly. And it's not the right fit for everyone. I mean, with closed systems, you usually have those more traditional support channels, which some people prefer.
Right.
And it's also important to note that open source, they don't always have access to the same, like, massive data sets that you see with the big companies.
Ah, so data quality, that's another thing to consider.
Huge factor. Because at the end of the day, the AI is only as good as the data it learns from, right?
That's true for, well, for anything really. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Exactly. And open source projects, they're getting much better at gathering and cleaning data, but it's definitely a challenge.
So with open source AI, it sounds like there's this incredible potential, right? To really, I don't know, democratize healthcare, especially for people who haven't had access to these tools before. But there are also some real challenges.
For sure, there are definitely things to consider. And that actually brings us to another important piece of this puzzle, the role of those big players, you know, the open AIs of the world.
Right, right.
Because they're making massive investments and they're really shaping the future of this technology.
Well, we've got these articles here talking about OpenAI getting potentially $500 million from SoftBank.
It's huge.
$500 million, and then you've got Microsoft with their stake in the company. That's a lot of money being poured into AI.
It tells you something, right? About the potential that they see in this technology. Those investments, they're going into research, bringing in the best people, and being able to like really quickly scale up development and deployment.
So it's full steam ahead for these companies.
Yeah.
Although even with all those resources, it seems like even navigating the world of AI has its risks.
What do you mean?
Well, didn't OpenAI have that security breach a while back?
Oh, right, yeah. Their X account, the one that used to be Twitter, it was compromised.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
Yeah.
Which it just raises some questions, you know, about data security.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about something as sensitive as healthcare information.
Exactly. I mean, if a company like OpenAI, with all their resources and expertise, can get hacked, then what does that mean for everyone else?
It's a wake-up call for sure. It really underscores how important cybersecurity is For any organization that's handling sensitive data in this AI age, it's absolutely crucial.
It's a lot to think about, that's for sure. I mean, on the one hand, you've got these amazing breakthroughs happening, right? Like AI has the potential to completely change how we approach healthcare. But on the other hand, we have to be so careful, especially when you're talking about something like people's private health information. And then there's the whole issue of making sure these advances are actually benefiting everybody, not just a select few.
It is. It's like this balancing act, and it requires a lot of nuance. We can't just throw AI at every problem and hope for the best.
Right. It's not magic.
It's about being smart, being strategic about how we integrate these tools, and always being aware of their limitations, and constantly checking, okay, how is this impacting patients? How is it impacting the healthcare system as a whole? We need to be paying attention to those things.
Absolutely. It really does feel like we're at this turning point, like we're standing on the edge of something massive, but we're not quite sure, I don't know, which way to go yet.
I think you're right, and that's what makes all this so fascinating. There's no easy answers, no one solution that's going to work for everything. We need to be having these conversations, challenging our assumptions, and always learning and adapting as the technology changes.
And that's really what we've tried to do here today, right? Bring together these different perspectives, talk about the potential benefits, but also the challenges. We covered a lot of ground. Symptom checkers, open source platforms, data security. It's a lot to digest.
It really is.
But now we want to hear from you. What really stood out to you in all of this?
Yeah, what are you excited about? What concerns you? Are there questions we didn't even think to ask?
What possibilities are we overlooking? Share your thoughts with us. Let's keep this conversation going. You can find us on all the usual social media platforms.
We really want to hear from you.
And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into AI and the future of healthcare. Hopefully this is giving you plenty to think about. It's a fascinating time to be alive, that's for sure. And as always, thanks for listening. We'll be back soon with another deep dive. Until then, keep learning, keep asking questions, and take care.